Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mary Anderson. I'm the director of the county's Public Information Office. I want to thank everybody for coming. This was pulled together very quickly. I appreciate people calling me, texting me, emailing me over the weekend to say you'd be here. Without further ado, I'll introduce our county executive, Marc Elrich.
Thank you. So these are the meetings where I say I'm actually not happy to have to be here. This is more money that we could be using to do good things that we have to divert to protect people because there are just too many crazy people running around. And I don't know another way to say it. So these are the things we do because we need to do them, and I'm glad we're all standing here today, and I'm glad that this is something that everybody has an agreement on. We're proud to announce our FY26 Nonprofit Security Grant Program Awards. It's $1.2 million distributed to 95 organizations across Montgomery County to help keep our community safe. This pretty much only happens here. I think we're still only the only county government that we know of that puts our money in a program like this, and it reflects who we are as a county. We are diverse, we're welcoming, and we refuse to let hate determine how residents live, worship, and serve one another. And since we launched this program 4 years ago, Montgomery County has now committed more than $6.5 million to protecting our nonprofit and faith communities. It's not an accident. It's deliberate. It's sustained investment to the safety of every one of our residents. It matters because globally and locally tensions are elevated. MCPD's 24 annual bias report, there were 192 bias incidents in Montgomery County. 3 out of 4 involved either race or religion. We hear from our residents and faith groups that the world feels less safe, that impacts, including local synagogues, mosques, churches, and community centers, are real, and we want to do everything in our power to ensure that places remain sanctuaries, not targets. I was actually at a Cambodian event this last weekend, and they were talking about how the security cameras we put there have both protected them from being robbed, but also protected their monks from being assaulted. This is a real thing, and it's a real thing. It's broader than any one community, and it's important that we're doing this. We might not know the name of Temple Israel were it not for the attack there in March. Some of us in Montgomery County would have known Temple Israel's name because that was a prominent early synagogue in Montgomery County, but this is a different one. The car was driven into the synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan. It was a planned attack. Everyone on the campus and more than 100 students, teachers, and staff survived. They were ready for a worst-case scenario, and we want our local institutions here to be ready as well. Montgomery County is one of the only only jurisdictions with locally funded nonprofit security grant programs at this scale. Other communities are watching what we do here, and I believe they should follow our lead. Besides these security grants, the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security and Montgomery County Police Department continue to provide direct support. We're helping with security assessments, training, and have increased patrols at faith institutions. Organizations can now integrate their security cameras directly with our real-time crime center, giving law enforcement the ability to respond faster when seconds matter. The county is utilizing hate-based incident complaint portal and a telephone hotline because reporting incidents matters, and we continue to encourage people. We can't do anything to help you if you do not tell us what you are experiencing. So please step up. Please let us know how we can help and let us know what you're experiencing so we can do our part. I want to thank the council for their partnership. This is something on which there has always been unanimity. OEM HS Director Luke Hodson and his team, I want to thank you for administering. And I want to thank every organization that's applied. It's important that you step up and ask for what you need. We started talking about this well before we announced these grants back in 2022. We're here now because of the reality of the situation we're in. And I'm just glad we're able to do this. And I'm going to turn it over, I think, to Natali, who's going next. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Natali Fani González. I'm the president of the Montgomery County Council, and as the county executive said, this is an issue where the entire county is together. Protecting our residents is number one. I'm so happy that I have, and I'm going to start from my left, I have Council Members Don Lucky, Council Members Andrew Friedson, Ulja Wando, the Chair of the Public Safety Committee, Sidney Katz, and Council Member Evan Glass. We're all here together because we understand that having peace of mind in our communities is important. And when we say that we're a county that is going to be defending you and protecting you, that also means that you need to put your money where your mouth is. And that's what we're doing, ensuring that people of every single faith and nonprofits feel that they can continue living and working in this county that is welcoming and is doing everything in our power to ensure that you're gonna feel safe. About a month and a half ago, the county executives team contacted me as well as the chair of the Public Safety Committee, Sidney Katz, saying, Natali, the things that are happening in the Middle East, although we're tiny Montgomery County in the USA, what's happening in the Middle East, it is affecting us here at the local level. People have this fear and people are being attacked just because of the way they think, what they believe, and it's wrong. So when the executive said, can the county council please step forward and provide more funds, I immediately contacted the chair of the public safety first, and then my council colleagues, and they all said right away, yes. There was no hesitation, because at the end of the day, that's the right thing to do, ensuring that people feel safe and protected. And I want to thank our public safety officers for working with us, because we couldn't be doing this without our police department, or sheriff department, fire and rescue. We're all coming together to ensure that residents feel that this county is there for you. With that, thank you so much, and I'm going to pass it to Mary. I want to stand right here.
I'd like to introduce Luke Hodgson, who is the director of the county's Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Thanks, Luke.
Good afternoon, everybody. In the spring of 2025, the Montgomery County Council approved the county executive's budget with $1.2 million to support the security needs of nonprofit organizations that were at risk of hate crimes. This is the 5th year of this particular grant, and it goes even farther back than that with some different iterations. This year we received 103 applications in total, some representing several facilities and campuses, so you can see just the extent to which people feel threatened in our community. 96 of these were deemed eligible, and the request totaled $1.43 million, significantly exceeding the $1.2 million that had been allocated. The good news is that we were able to allocate funds to each and every one of the eligible organizations, and the majority of them met the maximum award amount. Of the 96 organizations that are receiving funding, the majority are planning to hire security staff to provide on-site physical security. Oftentimes that's off-duty Montgomery County Police or other allied agency support. And the rest of them are using it to fund security cameras, as we just discussed the importance of that. The grants range from $2,500 to $15,000 each and are based on needs and funding availability. Given the seriousness of the crime threats that we see at the moment and the limited funding, the county prioritized funding for the organizations at the highest risk. So we considered those who had particular concern, who had clearly demonstrated that they had experienced serious hate crimes at their facilities, or they were directed at their members or congregants. Special consideration was also given to organizations at the highest risk on our hate patterns report, in our Montgomery County report. The most vulnerable populations, those with limited or no security measures already in place, and those in vulnerable locations. As we mentioned, those funds may be used for security staffing, security assessments, planning, training and exercises, new security cameras, or the purchase of the Fusus Core device, which, as the county executive said, those devices allow those camera feeds to be fed right into our real-time crime center, that we're able to detect the crimes as they're happening, but also they add a great deal of evidentiary value when we're investigating and solving those crimes. Nearly half of the organizations applying for the grants this year reported direct incidents of hate. That ranges from graffiti, vandalism, and arson, to intimidation and threats aimed at parishioners or other members, online and phone threats, white supremacist materials distributed at or surrounding their facility, and individuals entering their facilities and threatening them directly. Last month, following the unrest in the Middle East, as our council president said, we heard loud and clear from our community that they were understandably concerned about the global hostilities manifesting here at home. We saw that at the attack at the synagogue in Michigan in mid-March, as the county executive said. We saw this last week in England at another synagogue. So County Executive Elrich and County Council President Fani González and the rest of the County Council quickly responded by making an additional $500,000 available to current recipients that had a nexus to the Middle East threats. The opportunity was limited to funding extra security personnel to address the immediate issues over the next 90 days. This resulted in supplemental security support for 49 organizations. At the county level, hate crime statistics, I think, are pretty telling. According to the 2024 annual bias report, which I encourage you to look at if you have not, that's the most recent one available, Montgomery County Police Department recorded 483 bias incidents in the county in 2024. Sadly, 291 of those were school-related. Outside of the school system, there were an additional 192 community-related ones. That's an increase from 2023. Bias crimes, as we know, are traditionally underreported, so we suspect there's even more that are happening out there. Race and religion continue to be the primary bias motivators here, followed by sexual orientation and ethnicity. Most of the incidents motivated by racial bias were anti-Black, while most of the incidents motivated by religious bias were anti-Semitic. We strongly encourage our residents and facilities to report any and all bias incidents to our partners at the Montgomery County Police Department, as we've discussed, whose determination and hard work have led to the prosecution and multiple arrests over the years. Bias incidents here in Montgomery County span the entire county, from Bethesda to Burtonsville, from Wheaton to Damascus. Through the nonprofit security grant, the county wants to help ensure that it's clear. Hate is not welcome here, hate will not be tolerated here, and we will not be intimidated by hate. The county's taking action throughout the community to ensure people feel safe and secure being themselves, whether it be at home, their place of worship, their schools, or their community centers. These hate crimes absolutely do not represent what Montgomery County is and what we stand for, but support of this funding provided by the county executive and the county council, we're putting into action measures that ensure these crimes do not flourish. As the administrator of this grant, I just want to thank Hassan Bahadur, who's in our Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. He led this effort. Raphael Murphy and Allie Hoy from the Office of Grants Management, Kate Chance, our county's faith liaison, and the entire team of 24 application reviewers who worked studiously to review these 100 applications. And lastly, I want to thank the county executive and the entirety of the county council for the support that you've provided to deliver this critical resource when we need it the most and continue to respond to the threats as they evolve. Thank you.
We're now going to hear from some of our nonprofits who received grants. First speaking is Ron Halber from the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington. Did I get that right?
You got it right. You got it right. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I want to thank County Executive Marc Elrich and his administration for their exceptional, decisive, and forward-looking leadership in providing $1.7 million to enhance security for nonprofits at risk of hate crimes or terrorist attacks. His administration's swift and vital action, especially the $500,000 in emergency grant, resulted in funding being arranged in just 6 days after the JCRC raised urgent concerns about increased threats to local communities tied to the situation in the Middle East. If you've seen over the last 2 weeks, there's been 4 attacks against the Jewish community in London alone. This is how local government should work: proactive, responsive, and effective. I also want to recognize County Council President Natali Fani González for her strong leadership and critical support, including her key legislative role in ensuring this important initiative could come forward. And thank you, of course, to all your colleagues as well. This is an important thing to point out. The emergency dollars were able to move forward because our county's existing nonprofit program provided a mechanism for quick implementation. In other words, all these grantees, many of them had already had contracts with the county, so it was easy to execute. Maybe I should choose a better word. County Executive Marc Elrich was a driving key force, providing early leadership and support that helped establish this program many years ago. Councilmember Andrew Friedson was the legislative champion who had the foresight and leadership to see the need for this program and was instrumental in its creation. And Councilmember Katz was also there at the public forum and became a key leader in this effort. And since the program has been underway, all the council members gathered here today have been friends. Councilmember Lutke, Councilmember Will Jawando, Councilmember Evan Glass. Together, their partnership made Montgomery County the first in the nation to establish such a program, which laid the foundation that allowed for an urgent and effective response at this critical moment. When we first brought this program to the county executive, I remember sitting down with Rich Madalino. At first, we were realizing about how the Jewish community and the Asian American community were being impacted dramatically because of the bigotry that was rising during COVID. But it didn't take long to realize, within about 15 seconds, that there were communities all around the county. And one of the things I'm most proud about this is if you look down that list, the diversity of those included in this, showing that this is a program that is wanted by all, even seeing the amount of money that was applied for and how everybody sought this program. Some people were questioning whether we needed it. Well, the answer is it's oversubscribed 5 years later. As I've often said, repeating the wisdom of the county executive, it's unfortunate that we need these resources, but we live in a world where hate towards others is on an upward trajectory. I would rather see these funds spent on critical social welfare needs, housing, other things. But the first responsibility of government is to protect its citizens. This program must continue and be well-funded so long as it is necessary. Local funding is critical because it allows communities to respond quickly and directly to emerging threats, including providing security personnel, which is the #1 deterrence, absolutely unquestionable, the #1 deterrence for committing an attack on an institution, and ensures institutions can be safeguarded when these needs arise. That's why I wrote an op-ed about 3 weeks ago in a national Jewish publication calling on localities around the nation, municipal and county government, to follow their lead. Federal government doesn't have the flexibility to do it. We're grateful for the $250,000 that they distribute to other groups, to all groups around the country, but they can't move fast. It's just impossible. Congress moving fast? I mean, let's think about that for a moment. So the reality is only local government has that ability, and this needs to be Montgomery County has not have to be the rare example, but it's got to be has set the example, and everybody else around the country should be moving forward, showing the leadership that the county executive and our county council did here. We are fortunate to live in Montgomery County, a locality that understands its responsibility so well, and we encourage other county and municipal governments again around the country to adopt this model immediately to strengthen the security and safety of all Americans. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your willingness to make all of our communities safe.
Next, we have Mr. Harinder Bawa from the Sikh Center.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. You know, we all have the right to be secure and feel secure, whether it be at home or in our religious places. But, you know, and this county is probably one of the most diverse in the country. And I recognize the leadership for seeing that and being able to promote the freedom that we have. I raised 3 kids in this county. It feels like a good place. You know, but I'm happy to say that programs like this, you know, they do help. You know, we use the funds for all of the things that we talked about: security personnel. We had cameras. We're trying to do training and training assessments and looking at the facility and how can we make it safer. So we're trying to do all of those things. You know, obviously, the county can't pay for all of that. So we raise funds in our own internal congregations as well. But that's the impetus. When we get money from the county and we can show that to our congregation, and they all recognize the need, they become more willing to step up as well, because we all want to feel safe. You know, and I just want to thank the county and its leadership. I've never met you, sir, but I see your videos every week on my and I appreciate it. But again, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Now I'd like to introduce the Venerable Tien from the Vian An Buddhist Center. Did I get that right?
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Viên Huệ, Venerable Viên Huệ, Vietnamese Buddhist nun from Viên An Temple. I would like to say, Honorable County Executive, distinguished leaders, and respected guests, we sincerely to express our gratitude to Montgomery County for this meaningful support to faith-based and community organization. This grant not only for strengthen security, but it also brings peace of mind. Allow us to continue to serve the community with the greater confidence. For us, a temple is not the only place for worship, but it place that nurture the understanding and the harmony. When such the space is safe and protected, we are able to expand our service and outreach to all. We are committed to using this support responsibly, transparently, and in ways that benefit the wider community. Thank you very much.
Now we have Karen Bethel Brown from People's Community Church.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the county for this grant. I'd like to thank the county for the grant. In March of this year, we partnered with the Baby Faye Bilingual Learning Center. That learning center will eventually come to support 70 children from ages infant to kindergarten. In conjunction with opening the learning center, we also built a playground. That playground is open to the public. So we will be using our grant to provide lighting and security cameras to ensure those children are well protected. Although we also already have lights and cameras in that learning center area, we will be using the funds as well to provide additional lighting. We know that as fall comes back around and the time changes, when parents are picking up their children, it is going to be of critical importance that that area is well lit and has security cameras. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mariam Khan from the Muslim Community Center.
Good afternoon. My name is Mariam Khan, and I'm a board of director at the MCC Muslim Community Center, located in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm here today along with a fellow board of director member, Noor Shaner Ayers, and the executive director, Dr. Azad Ijaz. We're, on behalf of MCC leadership here, we express our sincere gratitude to the Montgomery County for awarding us funding through the Fiscal Year 2026 Security Grant Program for the House of Worship. We are especially thankful to the County Executive Marc Elrich and the members of the Montgomery County Council for recognizing the importance of protecting faith communities and taking meaningful action to support that goal. Our masjid not only serves as a place of worship, but as a vital community hub within the county. Each week we host one of the largest congregational gatherings in the area for Friday prayer, as well as other religious holiday observances. Beyond that, we operate a 7-day-a-week county safety net medical clinic that provides essential healthcare services to all in need, regardless of faith. We offer youth and young adult programming that fosters growth and belonging, and operate a weekend school dedicated to educating the next generation. Unfortunately, like many faith-based institutions across the county and country, we have faced security threats in the past. In today's congregants, patients, students, and visitors is not optional, it's essential to actually have these security resources. This grant will allow us to take critical steps to maintaining and strengthening our security posture. It will help us fund training, security personnel, and support necessary infrastructure upgrades, ensuring that our community can gather, learn, and serve others in a safe and secure environment. We are deeply grateful for the county's partnership and commitment to safeguarding all residents, regardless of their faith. This investment sends a powerful message that our community matters and that everyone deserves to feel safe in their place of worship. Thank you again to Montgomery County leadership for your support and all those who continue to stand with us and build a safer, stronger, and more united community. Thank you.
Next, we have Carrie Brody from Emma's Torch.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm just so grateful to not only get to work in this county, but to be raising my family here. I know that my children are safer because of your work, and there's nothing that can possibly match that. Emma's Torch, what we do is we provide culinary training and job placement services to refugees, asylees, and survivors of human trafficking. We are in the business of empowerment. But I know that empowerment can't happen without welcome, and welcome can't happen without security. And when we told our students that not only are we so grateful for our county and for this community for investing in this new training center that we're opening in Silver Spring, but that there's a real commitment to their security, that what they're seeing in the newspaper, what they experienced in their countries of origin where they fled from the worst of humanity, they're being met by the best of humanity. And that starts with a sense of belonging and a sense of security. So thank you so much for this investment. It means the world to not only our students, but to their children and to their families as well.